Hey y'all, it's your girl, Kara Perez, founder of Bravely Go, and I am a formerly broke person who had to tell people for a period in my time no a lot. And so today, a short and sweet video on how you can tell friends and family in a very nice, very kind way, sorry, that's not in my budget. Money can be a really sensitive topic for a lot of people for a variety of reasons. So I think it's really important that we all develop a way to talk about it without being accusatory, without being defensive, without being negative, and without straying into toxic positivity. It can be difficult to navigate financial conversations with loved ones, especially if there is a big financial or lifestyle difference. And with rising cost of living and limited spaces to hang in public for free, money is very much so a part of all of our friendships today. So we have to be able to talk about it. And it's important to be honest about what you can and cannot afford, but you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So first and foremost, it's important to remember that your individual financial situation is your individual financial situation. You don't really owe anyone an explanation about why you can or can't afford anything, and you should never feel badly about setting financial boundaries in your life. And if you need to hear someone say it, I'm saying it. It's not only okay, but important to prioritize your own financial stability for your own future. And it's really important to make decisions that align with your lifestyle values. So when you're telling a friend or a family member that you can't afford something, be clear and be direct. Don't beat around the bush and don't be awkward about it, because that just brings a tinge of awkwardness to everybody. Start by thanking them for the invitation and acknowledging that you would love to attend, and then follow it up by saying, but unfortunately right now is just not the time. Try to avoid using apologetic or overly apologetic language, like, I'm so sorry I can't do that, I'm such an asshole. Don't do that. That brings up two really weird things. One, now you are making them emotionally responsible for you. They have to assure you, no, you're not an asshole, don't worry about it, right? So that's more labor you're asking for them. And two, it can come across as defensive a little bit, like you're feeling defensive because they invited you out. And now that's kind of a weird dynamic. Instead, try to stress in the conversation that you love this person, you want to see this person, and offer up a suggestion that works for you instead. For example, you could say something like, oh, I can't make that, but I would love to see you next weekend for X situation. So just as a kind of more detailed example, you can say something like, I can't make that concert, but I would love to see you next Saturday for a picnic in the park. That way your friend knows, yes, I definitely want to see you. I definitely want to hang out with you. I think you're really cool. I just want to do it at the picnic in the park. You've taken ownership of an activity that they can now respond yes or no to. And honestly, if you're anything like me, sometimes you can get in your own head about conversations that you have with your loved ones of like, wait, are they mad at me? Why did they say it that way? Or especially if you're reading a text and you're like, why did they put that period there? Does that mean that they want me to die? It's very easy to get in our own heads about stuff. So communicating in this clear way will help you avoid some of that nebulous, what's going on here? Another thing that's really important to consider in money conversations is the tone of voice you're using and your body language. You want to come across confident in the decisions that you're making, even if you're feeling a little nervous or uncomfortable. Something that works really well is using I statements. So if someone invites you out to dinner, instead of responding, wow, that's a really expensive restaurant, that sounds kind of defensive, that sounds kind of negative, we don't want to do that. Instead, we want to use an I statement. You can say, I'd love to go out to eat. How about we try X place instead? And then you can also notice in my tone of voice how it changed from, wow, that's kind of expensive. That's kind of a lower note. It's got a tone of judgment to it. And then when I flipped it and said, I'd love to go out to eat. How about we try this place instead? That's a much lighter, brighter tone of voice that says, I think you're really cool. I want to spend time with you. I just want to do it at this cheaper place. Now, some people may push back on your boundaries and try to get you to spend more than you feel comfortable with. In these cases, try to avoid getting defensive or reacting in anger, but remain firm in your decision. You've set a boundary and it's absolutely okay to enforce that boundary, but we don't want to get mad and get into a fight about things. Now, if they continue to push it and they're really beginning to get on your nerves and you're like, bro, chill, you can say something like, I really appreciate the invitation, but I just can't swing it right now. I hope you can understand. It's that last part of the sentence, I hope you can understand. That's your, 1-2 punch for the knockout. Because now you're saying, hey man, chill out. but you're doing it in a nice, polite, conversational tone. If you're in a situation where you have kind of a long-term financial constriction, like you want to save for a house over the next year and a half, or you're trying to pay off $80,000 in student loans and it's going to take you 4 years to do it, so you know you're going to be turning down some expensive things more frequently, it can be really helpful to have a conversation up front rather than during these one-off invitations. Now, I'm not saying that you necessarily have to sit down all your friends and be like, look, I'm trying to pay off my student loans, don't invite me to shit. You can do that if you want, but that's not what I'm saying. Instead, I think in casual conversation, it's important to reiterate how you are working on these financial goals. So while you're just all hanging out, you're at brunch at someone's house, or you're watching Love is Blind, or something like that, a casual hang, and you're just chatting, you can bring up these financial goals that you're working towards. And like I mentioned, this can and should be super casual, something along the lines of, I'm really working on paying off my student loans over the next couple of years, so I don't think I will be able to go out of the country anytime soon, but I'm really looking forward to trips around this local area. This is a much more subtle way of communicating. You're just kind of generally talking about your lifestyle, generally talking about money. You're not directing it at any one person or because of any one event, but having stuff like this kind of sprinkled into conversation a couple of times repeatedly over a period of time will let people know your general social situation and your general financial situation. And anyone who is socially aware, emotionally intelligent will begin to pick up on these things, and they'll know, oh, hey, I shouldn't invite Kara if we want to go get drinks at the W because those are going to be $17 cocktails, but if I'm planning a camping trip, I know she's totally down. So in conclusion, telling a friend or a loved one that something's not in your budget, it doesn't have to be a confrontation, it doesn't have to be weird, and it doesn't have to be uncomfortable. Be clear, be honest, be direct. Try not to get defensive, and have these conversations in casual hangs over a period of time. Remember that no one is going to care about your money as much as you care about your money, so it's important that you set your financial boundaries and you stick to them. And be confident in your decision. It's your money, it's your life, you get to do what you want. Thank you for watching. Please give a thumbs up and make sure to come back every Monday for new videos.